evening, everyone, and welcome. Tonight is Thursday, April 30th. It is, in fact, 6 p.m., and this is the Olentangy Local Schools Board of Education regular meeting. It is a business session. And I'll call the meeting to order. Mr. Kern, please call the roll.
Mr. Bartz? Here. Mrs. Fiesel?
Here.
Mr. King?
Here.
Mr. White?
I have not heard from Mr. White. I assume he's not coming.
Mr. O'Brien?
I'm here. Would everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? The flag is to my left. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first item is to approve the agenda, and we do have an addendum to the agenda.
Yes.
Everyone has that?
Actually, several. It is the normal season, the hiring season, so all the additions to the agenda are personnel items, both certified and classified. I will make one note that under certified staff, your initial agenda went to A10. There is one additional item that makes A11, and that would be in regard to the two individuals who are accepting resignations for purpose of exam.
So with that, I will accept the motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussions on the agenda? Okay, Mr. Kern, please call the roll.
Mrs. Fiesel?
Yes.
Mr. Bartz?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes. Now we move to the board president's report, and the only item here is the recognition of Olentangy students for academic and extracurricular achievement. And at that point, I'll turn it over to Ms. Wagner-Fiesel.
Okay, this is on. Welcome, everybody. I just have a reminder before we get started. Next Tuesday night, May 5th, all four of us will be at our senior awards night. We're having it at all three high schools at the same night this year. And so I will be here at Olentangy, and Kevin and Roger will be at Orange, and Dave will be at Liberty, and that's one of our favorite nights of the year, so we can't wait to recognize our seniors. We'll probably be recognizing a lot of the same people that are here tonight. But tonight's meeting is a special one for us because it's an evening as a board where we get to recognize the students and staff members for their outstanding achievements in co-curricular, extracurricular, or athletic activities. Many athletic and academic competitions are still going on, so we will recognize those accomplishments at a separate board meeting later in June. This year, we have more than 180 students, coaches, advisors who have achieved outstanding accomplishments. We will congratulate more than 140 of these tonight. As I announce each person's name, please walk up, receive your plaque, pose for a picture with the board president and the superintendent. And this year, it's going to be worth a lot of money because this is his last one. He's retiring. So, I don't know if they're happy that you're retiring. I'm not sure what the feel is. But these photos will be delivered to you either to your school or in the mail in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so let's get started with Blackapalooza. The first person that we are going to recognize is for Math Counts. All of Olentangy's middle schools participate in the National Math Counts program, which is like a B-style competition held in all 50 states. We had one student compete at the state tournament this year, and we are pleased to recognize him this evening. From Liberty Middle School, Brian Peng. Olentangy is home to some amazing musicians, and the board is pleased to recognize many of them this evening. Our district is proud of the vocalists and musicians for earning state-level honors during this past school year. From Olentangy High School, we have David Champana, who made All-State in Orchestra. and Ann Kim, who I call Annie. She's a friend of mine. From Liberty High School, we have Kelly Jabrara. Kelly? Kelly received All-State in Orchestra as well. Next, we would like to recognize Olentangy High School Marching Band Director Ian Brunn for leading the band to a superior rating during this year's state contest. I understand that Ian could not be here tonight. However, his designee is here to accept the award on his behalf. Do you have Ian's designee? The board would also like to recognize and congratulate Director Michelle Beck, representing Olentangy High School Chamber Orchestra, which earned a superior rating at the state competition. Michelle? Oh, good. She's going to get Ian's, too. Let's also congratulate Jill Bixler, representing Liberty High School Chamber Concert Prelude and Sinfona Orchestras, earning a superior rating at this year's state competition. Michelle Beck is accepting Jill's award on behalf of this evening. We would like to recognize and congratulate the following for their musical achievements. From Orange High School, Victoria Anderson, All-State in Choir. Andrew Appel, All-State in Choir. From Liberty High School, Emily Perry, All-State Choir. Speech. Each year, our high school students participate in numerous competitions. This year, Liberty High School had a student who earned the title of state champion at the speech and debate competition. Let's congratulate Anthony English. What an appropriate name. Visual arts. Our district is fortunate to have some very talented artists in our midst. The following students from Olentangy High School were selected to participate in the Ohio Governor's Youth Art Exhibition. First up is Emma Cook. Next, we have Elizabeth Holter. And finally, from Olentangy, Erica Helminger. In addition, the following students were selected as National Scholastic Art Award exhibitors. Sadie Ballmaker, she received a Silver Key Award. Carlisle Brogdon received a Golden Key Award. Duha Hussein, American Visions Award winner. Let's see, Duha. Jose Luis Lacar, a Gold Key Award winner. And Marissa Schneider, a Silver Key Award winner. And the following students from Liberty High School were selected to participate in the Ohio Governor's Youth Art Exhibition. Morgan Ambrosia, and Sarthak Shaw, and Christina Yamarek. The following student from Olentangy Orange High School was selected to participate in the Ohio Governor's Youth Art Exhibition. Samuel Button, and 2 Orange High School students were selected as National Scholastic Art Award exhibitors. Amanda Baugh was a Gold Key Award winner. And Natalie Miller was a Silver Key Award winner. DECA. The Olentangy schools have historically supported a very strong DECA program. Over the past 20 years, district students have been leaders at the state and national level in DECA competition, as well as in fundraising for MDA, Honor Flight, Wounded Warrior Project, the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and many others. We have teams competing at the National DECA competition this week. I think I saw a national winner from Liberty. So we'll recognize them. Isn't that in PR? I think I saw that. But we have teams competing at the National DECA competition this week, and they will be recognized in June. This evening, we are recognizing students who competed at the state level. Congratulations to the following advisors and DECA groups for outstanding performance in competition. I understand that some of these advisors are not here because they are with their students competing at the national level in Florida, of all places. So I'd like to recognize Eric Wells from Olentangy High School, Mike Reese from Liberty High School, and Crystal Shannon from Orange High School. So those are the DECA advisors. Now for the students. Congratulations to the following Olentangy High School DECA students who placed in the state top 10 for their projects. First we have Leona Bergman-Gall, next is Ryan Dopp, Lauren Douglas, Andrew Flesher, Amanda Foy, Claire Hardesty. I see Haley Harm. Haley Harmon's here. That's what happens when you know people. Cassidy Marino. And Kaylin Wilkes. The following Olentangy High School students received the State DECA Champion Award for their projects. Logan Augustine, Taylor Bleedhorn, Madeline Bull, and Sarah Hansel. The following Liberty High School students received the State DECA Champion Award for their projects: Leela Apaya, Catherine Best, Bethany Katie, Anthony D'Annunzio, Megan Mace, Michael Stump, and Benjamin Weber. The following Liberty High School students placed in the state top 10 for their projects and are national competitors: Christopher Adams, Taylor Bardeen, Cole Bissonette, Jessica Klutschke, Tommy Kaskowski, Claire Lynn, Megan Peck, Megan Pirro, and Lily Wang. Let's also congratulate the Orange High School students who received School-Based Enterprise Gold Level certification: Maggie DeBolt, and Hannah Florence. Finally, let's congratulate the following Olentangy High School students who received the State DECA Champion Award for their projects: Basetta Mehta, Suhani Patel, and Jacob Schroeder. On to journalism awards. Another area in which our high schools excel is in journalism. We would like to recognize the Orange High School Bronze Bayonet Yearbook for placing first place in the state by the Ohio Scholastic Media Association. Congratulations to advisor Carrie Phillips and her students. Carrie is unable to join us this evening. However, you can join me in congratulating the Olentangy Orange High School student journalists who received the OCC Academic League James L. McCann Excellence in Journalism Award. The board is pleased to honor Annie Allmiller, Kyle Davidson. Natalie Pax. Courtney Schaefer. In addition, please join me in congratulating Liberty High School student journalists who received the OCC Academic League James L. McCann Excellence in Journalism Award. Aiden Coyne. Spencer During. Lexa Funderburg. And Meredith Whitaker. And now on to athletics. We're going to hit the fall and winter athletes, and we'll pick up the spring award winners at our June meeting. So as we continue to honor students, our outstanding students, we now turn to recognizing our outstanding student athletes. Many students have received individual honors in their sport, and the board congratulates the following. Brianna Berdecka, who's a state tennis qualifier. Kaylin Cochran, state swimming qualifier. Chris Crum, state wrestling qualifier. Andrew Davis, state swimming qualifier. Say hi to your mom, Andrew. That's his mom.
Mom.
Oh, come on. He's going to Clemson. Malia Ensley. She's a state cross-country qualifier. Allison Fomich, state swimming qualifier. And Keenan Fomich, another state swimming qualifier. Xander Gore, state wrestling qualifier. Nate Hall, state wrestling qualifier. Kathleen Jones, state tennis qualifier. Ben Kruger, state swimming qualifier. And Winston Kruger, another state swimming qualifier. Emma Morgan, state gymnastics qualifier. Ellie, Nebraska, state swimming qualifier. Abigail Newman, state swimming qualifier. Tyler Norris, state swimming qualifier. Anthony Sasso, state cross-country qualifier. Connor Slade, state wrestling qualifier. And Kyler Slade, state wrestling qualifier. Those were all from Olentangy High School, so we'll now move on to Olentangy Liberty High School. Emma Bauer, state cross-country qualifier. Allie Braun, state swimming qualifier. Sarah Colvin, state cross-country qualifier. Donnie Deep, first team All-State soccer. Anthony Denoy, second team All-State soccer. Alexa Fisher, girls basketball OCC Central Division Player of the Year, second team All-Ohio, and she's back next year. Jonathan Furness, Division I state champion in wrestling. And Zach Furness, state wrestling qualifier. I bet they had a lot of wrestling going on in that house. Next up is Trey Grenier, state wrestling qualifier. Trevor Haas, state golf qualifier. Kendall Henniker of All-Ohio Field Hockey. Jack Kenderiski, state wrestling qualifier. Alex Cowell, state diving qualifier, 6th place. Claire Lynn, state cross-country qualifier. Autumn Loader, state cross-country qualifier. And Cameron McCloskey, state golf qualifier. Rockin' Mead, state Division I wrestling qualifier, 2nd place. Alexa Meyer, state tennis qualifier. Kyle Mitchell, state golf qualifier. I think the golfers are all dressed to go out and shoot 9 after this. Abby Noonan, state swimming qualifier. Maddie Passarella, All Ohio Field Hockey. Rachel Peroni, state swimming qualifier. Megan Piero, state cross country qualifier. Emma Rinaldi, first team All-State Soccer Central District Player of the Year. Trey Rath, state golf qualifier. Marshall Ruffing, state golf qualifier. Jack Sezwa, state swimming qualifier, 8th place. And Cameron Thatcher, state diving qualifier and state champion. Nick Tracewell, state swimming qualifier. Christopher Volpe, state wrestling qualifier. I think it's that new wrestling room that made these wrestlers do so well this year. Claire Wiles, state cross country qualifier. And Trinity Wiles, another state cross country qualifier. And from Olentangy Orange High School, Hunter Moore, state cross country qualifier. Our Olentangy High School student athletes are led by fantastic coaches and mentors, many having received team and coaching honors this year. Join me in congratulating the following coaches. Coach Denise Berry, who led the Olentangy High School boys swim and dive team to an OCC championship. Come on down. And Coach Jim Bream, who led the Olentangy High School boys bowling team to an OCC championship. Is Coach Bream here? He might be at softball. Coach Dwight DeWeese, who led the Olentangy High School girls cross country team to an OCC championship. And Mr. DeWeese, are you retiring from this? Keep at it. The girls' soccer team from Olentangy was OCC champion and Central District champion. They were regional runners-up and qualified for the state competition. Coach Megan Terwilliger as I still know her, Kirsten was named as the OCC Capital Division Coach of the Year. She's carrying on that family coaching tradition. Coach Mark Solis, Olentangy High School football team, was the OCC champion, district champion, regional champion, and competed in the state Final Four. Mark was also named the OCC Capital Division Coach of the Year. Yes. Girls basketball coach John Fiesel was named OCC Capital Division Coach of the Year and led the Olentangy High School girls basketball team to an OCC championship and District 1 runner-up status. But because he can't do it alone, he's sending up his team. A coach is only as good as his players. He does this every year, girl. He won't come up. Now for Liberty High School awards. Coach Daryl DeWeese led the boys cross-country team to an OCC championship as well as district and regional championships. The team placed 6th at the state meet. Next, we have Coach Marianne Flannery. She was at the helm when the field hockey team from Liberty had such a successful season and was named Central Ohio Field Hockey League champions and regional finalists. And for football, under Coach Steve Hale, the football team advanced to the regional semifinals. Coach Hale. Next up, we have rookie Liberty coach Sam Crafty, who led the girls basketball team to an OCC Central Division championship and into the regionals, and they posted their best season ever. Coach Sam Crafty. He said it was beginner's luck. I think he had a pretty doggone good team. And finally, Coach Mark Marinelli, Liberty High School wrestling team, was the district runner-up, sectional champions, and placed ninth in the state Division I bracket. And if you get a chance, go see the wrestling room, because it's really beautiful. And finally, the boys golf coach from Liberty is Coach Ryan Snively, and he was named the Central District Coach of the Year. And I think the team gets best dressed. At Olentangy Orange High School, they also had successful athletic seasons, and they were highlighted by the following accomplishments. Mr. Paul Brown led the Orange High School girls bowling team to an OCC conference championship. Coach Brown here. And finally, Coach Scott Bryant coached the Olentangy Orange High School boys soccer team to an OCC championship. On behalf of the Olentangy School Board and the 4 board members who are here tonight, I would like to again congratulate our coaches and our students tonight. We've had a great year, many successes, and we are proud of your many accomplishments. Now, if you would like to stay for our board meeting, which is going to be really exciting, we are going to move to the library, but I appreciate you all coming and supporting our students and coaches. Do you want to get your coaches? Yeah. She's got them all back. No. Oh. I was worried you weren't going to be there. No.
This way as we go down the stretch to the end of the school year. We had our Spring Arts Festival. That was April 19th. Again, I don't know if you had the opportunity to attend any of that. I know Mr. King was there. I do know that because I saw him, but we had it throughout the district, and we just have some just unbelievably talented individuals. And of course, that's some of the work that we have to show. And, if you couldn't make it this year, I would highly encourage you to take in that art festival because it just blows my mind at the talent that we have. Other things, we talked a little bit about this the last meeting. We called the ABC Committee, or Attendance Boundary Committee. We now have more than 200 applications across the district to be part of that committee. And they're still coming in. I know we put a deadline on it, and it came and went, but it's still coming in. So I think that's going to be a very productive committee, and obviously we'll continue to work with those individuals because those are going to be individuals that will be, even though it's a superintendent's committee now, it'll work much the same as board committees. As we go through the years, we'll have experts on those committees that will continue to help with the redistricting process. We had some high school spring theater productions. Again, I don't know if you were able to get to any or all of these. Fiddler on the Roof, Into the Woods, and Beauty and the Beast. I will say this, and I believe the board received many emails on the Beauty and the Beast piece. I'm not going to downplay any of the other two, but I have received a lot of feedback from Beauty and the Beast. But I will guarantee you they were all entertaining, and again, I'll go back to that talent piece of which our students show on just a daily basis, and the individuals that direct those plays and work with those students, because it's many, many months of practice, it's many, many months of hard work, and to come out and film those productions the way that they do, they are to be applauded. This lady, I believe, is back there in the back. Jo Ellen Rogers. She is retiring, which first and foremost we want to congratulate her and thank her. But when you think about a 32-year career with perfect attendance.
Wow.
32-year career with perfect attendance. Great job. Great job. And the piece I will miss the most is the fact every time I pass her on the bus, she waves at me. It doesn't matter, when, where, or whatever that may be. She's such a pleasant individual on the bus, but she's also very pleasant with waving. It's like, I love my job. You can tell it as she's waving. And when you're able to go through 32 years with perfect attendance, that's almost unheard of. Thank you, Joel. Great job. We appreciate all you've done. Washington Post is out. 2015 ranking of the most challenging high schools. As you can see, Olentangy, Liberty, Orange, 4, 3, 6 in Ohio. I was looking at the trends back through the last 4 or 5 years, and we've always been anywhere from 1. I believe Orange was 1 back in 2013. I'm talking about Central Ohio. The lowest we've gotten to be in Central Ohio was 6. And we've kind of moved up and down, and I'm not just talking about 1, I'm talking about all of them. They moved from 2 to 3, so on and so forth. So this, by the way, is measured. It's a ratio that they take all of the AP tests, International Baccalaureate tests. Of course, for us, it's mostly AP. They take that number, they divide it by the number of graduates. For example, we had 1,102 this year. So if we had 1,102 tests taken, and there was 1,102, the ratio would be 1. And of course, you can see the challenge index out there, which means we have a lot of kids taking a lot of tests. So we're very, very proud of this piece. And as you know, the U.S. News and World Report will be coming out. Newsweek will be coming out. So again, I can't say enough about the work of not only individuals in those high schools, but I'll continue to remind everyone that's a journey. It starts in preschool here and moves all the way up through. So it's a great, great honor for the high schools, but it's also a great reflection on the work of our preschool, our elementary, our middle school people. We're just very blessed to have those individuals. So we're proud to see that ranking come out. Other good things, I have a visit from the superintendent. I believe that's actually Lexington Schools instead of New Lexington Schools. But I wanted to just kind of highlight this. I don't want to read the entire letter, but you know the OASIS program. Some of you also were here when we started the OASIS program. In fact, when I first got here, I was told the OASIS program wouldn't work in Olentangy. I think the first year we had 2. Now, we have, if you count the seniors that have been through and graduated this year, I think the number was 190. We currently have roughly 140 because, again, some of the seniors have graduated. About 70 of those are virtual. About 70 of those are actually on site. So we do get visits, by the way. I'm not going to read the entire letter from the superintendent up in Lexington. He says, this is my 40th year in education, my 17th as a superintendent of the Lexington schools, and what you are all doing with and for your students, the way you all go about it, and the impact you are having on young lives is as impressive as I've ever seen. There are no, quote, throwaway kids, but there are kids that our system simply does not reach, or for whom our system does not work. That means we are who must come up with other ways to reach kids. I know every one of the board members that have been here and visited OASIS. I will continue to encourage you to go out and visit OASIS because it's just an absolutely tremendous job done by Jen Blakely and her staff. And again, I just wanted to read that letter from that superintendent. We did have our Arrowhead support meeting going on a different route. That was Tuesday night. We had approximately 70 in attendance. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the results or the what's coming in regard to the Arrowhead support meeting here just a little bit later. State budget. I'm not going to talk a lot about the state budget because it goes along with the SAC and the BAC. That's the Advocacy Committee and the Business Advisory Council that we run. We had a joint meeting. We had Representative Brenda there, by the way. The House version of the budget looks very good. We were happy. It's in the Senate. We are told right now that it's going to be safe. And of course, when we say safe, what we're specifically talking about is that minimum funding per pupil piece. I'm not sure it's going to be that safe when it gets back to the governor, but we will continue to work in regard to that. It is very good to have a citizen group that is ready, willing, and able
to go to work as soon as they get the word in regard to this whole funding piece. Last but not least, on the good things, it's not a good thing that Chris Andrus is leaving by any means. It's a good thing about the work that he has done here. As you know, we're accepting his resignation. He's going to that district on the other side of the river from us. I guess I will say Dublin. And they're getting a good one. And we just want to say to Chris, congratulations. And we also want to say thanks for everything that he has done because he has done a lot in our Pupil Services Department. Agenda items that we're talking about, again, this time of the year we have tons of certified employment contract renewals. We have automatic non-renewals of certified contracts. Those are the August hires, which we do every year. And the previously retired teachers, we will non-renew them this meeting, come back the next meeting, and bring them back. So I just wanted to make sure, I think most of you are very familiar with that procedure, but that's on the agenda. Student fees for 2015-16 has been presented to you. I would make a note that we are raising that athletic fee $5 from 75 to 80, and it's because of the program that we use from the form standpoint. We're putting it down into the middle school level. So therefore, we're raising it $5 to make sure that we can incur those processing fees. Graduating seniors, as you know, you are approving the list, 1,102 of them. And you can see the breakdown there. So, and growing, as they say. Next year will be larger. So, I think when I got here, I want to say there were 800 or so graduates, and now there's 1,102. Other agenda items, we're kind of closing up the gap on the Olentangy Academy, the STEM Academy. We're requesting equipment and technology in, and we're finishing up the last of the furniture purchases. That's on the agenda. Also an update on hiring already. As you can see, we have 95 potential openings. 42 new teachers have been hired already, of which you have some on the agenda tonight. That's why you have an addendum also. That means we're running at about 44%, which, by the way, we're in very good shape there. I would say by the end of this year into next year, we'll probably end up with 105 openings, between 100 and 110 apiece. And again, Mr. Marsh and his team is busy, as are the building principals in filling all those positions. So we're at about 45% fill rate. Important dates out there, as Mr. O'Brien said at the start of the meeting, we have the Senior Awards Night, Tuesday, May 5th at 7 o'clock at Olentangy, 7:30. I just want to, I talked a little bit about that. I want to remind you that we went to that one-night process because of the Delaware Foundation scholarship piece. Since we now graduate so early, there's just not enough dates to put three different dates. And in order to give our kids more opportunity and more money, we put them all into one. So I know I've been asked at the board level, because I totally appreciate the fact you want to go to all three. This year you're going to split it up. I think it's something that we're very much open to discussion, but the reason we made that move is to accommodate kids in regard to pursuing scholarship dollars. Upcoming board meeting, 6 o'clock, Thursday, May 14th. That's the business meeting. That will also be another community award. Tonight, students, that night on May 14th, we'll look at community service awards. June 4th, you have a superintendent search process, executive session. Thursday, June 25th. And that includes the spring student, and also, as you recall, we did miss, I know, of at least one tonight. Anyone that we have found that we missed for this evening, we'll push to that June meeting, so we make sure we get everybody. Staff Appreciation Week, by the way, is the week of May 4th through 8th, which is next week. Important dates, Jim Clemente presentation, that goes with that Arrowhead support group. He will be here May 12th and 13th. As you can see, on May 12th at 9:30, he will be talking to all district administrators. At 2 o'clock, he will be talking to community leaders. representatives from law enforcement, faith-based agencies, mental health agencies. May 12th, that evening, 6:30, again, community members. That would be like a community forum. And then on the 13th at 7:30 in the morning, he will be meeting with class parent meetings over at Arrowhead. If you can make any of those, I would encourage anyone here or listening tonight to take this one in because I think we're going to learn a lot of things about this whole situation at Arrowhead. Graduations, believe it or not, I can't believe I'm talking about graduations, but they are on Sunday, May 17th at the Expo Center. Orange is first this year at 10 o'clock. Olentangy is at 2, and Liberty is at 6. That concludes the superintendent's report. I'd be glad to entertain any questions you may have at this time. Thank you.
Next item is treasury report.
Yes, this evening we have some action items this evening, approving minutes, financials for March, and appropriations and donations. Financial report I'll talk about more as it ties into the 5-year forecast, which is probably pretty much the next discussion items. We'll talk about that at that time. But on the donations, I want to point out very two generous donations that you'll be on this evening for approval. You're looking at Exhibit A4. One to point out, number 3 is the Liberty High School wrestling facility, $1.8 million from Kathy Snyder and family. And then also number 4, the baseball field athletic turf over at Liberty High School for the varsity and JV fields. From the Liberty Athletic Boosters and Patriots baseball field, which we also see in that donation of approximately $400. So it's to see.
Any questions?
Much appreciated, those donations.
No doubt.
So we'll right into the next discussion now. Oh, sorry, participation. The first discussion item is the first reading of the 5-year forecast.
Well, this evening is actually today is my birthday, so I get the pleasure of presenting the first reading of the 5-year
And it's
forecast.
Dave's birthday too.
Happy birthday.
Congratulations.
Yeah. We need a cake.
So, anyways, I'm going to get into the forecast, and Dr. Lucas hit on some of the points. As far as the state's budget is concerned, I'll hit some of those things. But really, this is an update. As you know, I say this every time, but a reminder. Twice a year, the board approves a 5-year forecast in October and the update in May. This is the first reading of the May update, and also the general fund budget. The general fund budget, you'll see a more detailed presentation at the May meeting for approval, which is fine by international code with it. But in essence, that's going to tie out. You're looking at 2016 on the expenditure. It'll tie out into those particular lines, such as salaries and wages and so with that being said, let's get into, we'll hit some of the high points. Back in October, here's our ending fund balances, as we look. It's 15, we're at approximately 51 million as of October. As we start getting into deficit fund balance in FY18, and that's exacerbated as we get into FY19. So what we're going to see is an improving situation going forward, and we'll talk about a little bit where we're at the end. Changes from October on a revenue standpoint. Revenue came in approximately at this point $2.5 million greater, which is only about 1.47%. While it seems like a lot, it's 178 million revenue, percent is not very high. Why? Real estate and TIF valuations are higher. And I'm talking about TIF valuations too. Those actually fall into the operating revenue category. It's essentially, it is non-school TIFs. The biggest one that you might be heard of would be on the Polaris area. Is you still get all the tax money you're supposed to, but it just comes in a different form. We can't record it in real estate taxes. We got to record it all. In essence, it's still property taxes. So, we had predicted small growth of 1.5% in new construction. This was also a triennial update year. Some of you may saw your property valuations change. New construction was estimated at 1.5%, that came in at 2.7% on the residential side, and we're approximately, everybody know, about 85% residential, which is 15% on the commercial side. Reappraisal came in about the same, 1.5% there. We had estimated came in about 2.7%. Commercial, which is unfortunately only 15%, we had estimated 1.5% growth, and actually came in almost 6% for new construction on the commercial side. Right? So you can tell the economy is picking up on the commercial property valuations. I can turn this off too. Talk a lot louder than I want to. So that all in essence led to our property tax coming in approximately 1.7 million higher for real estate taxes with that new growth. If you remember, if you look at the notes there, even a 0.5% increase is about 500,000. So it's good news. Property values are going back, but recovering and new construction, especially on the commercial side. One thing that's different is unrestricted grants that aid actually went down. It's about 300,000 difference. Typically, if you're thinking, you have your state formula lines, there's those deductions at the end. Typically, junior schools and stuff like that is going to fall in your expense lines. But the autism and John Peterson scholarships, they're actually netted against the revenue. It's the way it comes in from the state. Back in the fall, we did an estimate from the state. After it all shakes out through the year, about 300,000 more than we anticipated in the fall. I don't see that going down. I anticipate. And there is a school choice. Parents taking advantage of other options. Autism scholarship, for example, a parent can choose to take up to $20,000 to a different school.
So can I ask a question about that for clarification?
Yeah.
The John Peterson Scholarship, they can take up to $20,000.
John Peterson, I'm not sure exactly what that amount. I know autism is small.
Okay, well, the autism, I thought the John Peterson Autism Scholarship was the same thing.
No, they're actually two.
Two separate ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
So those combined, autism scholarship is the bigger one.
Because I thought John Peterson's scholarship funded autism education too.
Yes.
Okay.
But
They're two separate.
They're two separate line items. When I get mine report, they're two separate line items. They, in essence, act in the same
Are the
way.
qualifications different?
Chris Saunders, probably,
Okay.
of course, he's leaving, but they
Yeah.
have a better idea. I don't think that's really much. I'm not sure exactly.
Okay. But the fact of the matter is, if your child qualifies, you can put in for that money and then take that money and go elsewhere. But the money that they're taking is probably a lot more than what we get in state funding. Because we get 5 cents on the dollar back for every tax dollar that we pay, and they can take up to $20,000. And we educate students here in the Olentangy School District for about $9,500 per student. But I realize that there are additional costs associated with special needs. So that's where they get more money. Mr. Ray, you look like you're going to say something.
John Peterson can go up to 20,000.
Okay.
It could be for any need. And the primary, the main drive for this has been the fact that these are children who've never been in our school. And they attend private school. So
Oh, so they could actually move into our school district, never having attended the school district or paid taxes in the prior year, and then apply to take this out of our coffers.
We did the evaluation.
Oh, to see if they qualify. Because I know that we educate a lot of students successfully here. No.
Like I said, that's the biggest driver, of course, is the real estate and the valuations, $700,000. Really, at the end of the day, those are two biggest drivers of the additional revenue. Actually, tip valuations increased 10%, and we had about $335 million in tip valuations. Reminder, that's not school, so we're still doing. The big one going forward here, typically I would say, I already talked about new construction is typically a big revenue risk assessment since we're as you'll see further salon predominantly locally funded, 85% locally funded. We'll get to another 15%, a portion of that 15% is the state foundation. We just hit upon the superintendent's report a little bit. Always a risk assessment. State budget's on a 2-year cycle. We're at the end of the current cycle here in FY15. The state was budgeting for 16 and 17 at this point, and then we also have 18 and 19. Done in this forecast is not all the things that can happen. We didn't change anything really honestly from the fall. We have 5% growth cap, essentially growth coming there. The governor's proposal had approximately 10% growth. The House went through its proposals and actually capped it at 7.5%. So in that essence, we are close. I believe the way it stands right now, the expansion things can change in the Senate. That's FY16 and 17, approximately the governor's proposal. That 10% gain cap each year will give us approximately $2 million in total over the next 2 years additional. But the House, while it did institute some gain caps there, a little lower than 10%, it did hit on essentially what we would call our minimum fund piece that we've been talking about numerous times. The way they did it in language is they took, for example, I believe FY17, the state per pupil funding is at $6,000. They're saying we should be able to get 20% of that, which is around approximately $1,200. But in this, for the next 2 years, essentially giving us half of that 20%. It's essentially a minimum for pure pupil funding that we push forward to non-publics, and non-publics are approximately $1,147 now. I think they have potential 5% increases in the next couple of years, so they'll be around $1,200 anyways. The House proposal has half of that, to fund half of that, which is approximately, we're not the only districts, there's approximately over 30 districts statewide. In an area, pretty predominant districts would be first Olentangy, New Albany, and Arlington. And for us, half of the minimum per pupil funding is approximately total $13 million over the 2 years. Like I said, hopefully Senate will keep it in. But there's also a chance of a line item also. So we have met with governor and staff prior to the House proposal coming out, saying if this does happen, please keep that in there. I remember Tim Keene, who was the state budget kind of criticized the House proposal, which also had fail-safes, I guess, in there to make sure districts got either between formula funding and tangible personal property replacement monies that they did get in less than they did the previous year. That TPP was not in the governor's proposal. but that was added by the House. So he was very adamant, I guess, that can't support everything out there as far as the spending is concerned with TPP and essentially all the whole harmless agreements. Our whole harmless, our TPP, I'm sorry, went away back in 2012. So that was, I believe, approximately $3 million at the time. So that went away. So that has really no effect on us. So really what we're looking at the end of the day is let's keep that minimum for people funded in there going forward. I have not put anything in the forecast for it, not planning for it this time. They see the quote this week, maybe last week, or something off on this week. At that time, the October forecast week. So to continue to work, make sure that stays in there. I guess the goal would be hopefully in 16 and 17 while it's only. I should correct myself too. I mentioned it's 43 million statewide of the cost for probably 30 districts, and that's if we got the full minimum per pupil funding. It's approximately 20 something, half of course, if with the current House proposal passed. So I guess the hope would be in 18 and 19, then we would get the other half we have the minimum per pupil funding. Because underneath the governor's proposal, while we were increasing, I could see in 18 and 19. We gave 1.7 million back down, and we're increasing it because we have what they call capacity. We had our so we say share, and we of course we have because of the capacity we have. Any questions? Okay. Just there again showing how we are essentially locally controlled. That little green little box I spent a lot of time on is only 5% of our budget. Excuse me. My water's over there. Anyways, thank you. Yeah, spend so much time on 5% of the budget, but hopefully with the new additional revenues, it will double that size, so we'll be good. But also too is another state that's considered state revenue. If you ever look at anything, is also the orange aspect is the property tax allocation. That's the state reimbursement for a rollback homestead, the 12.5% credit that each of you get on your homes and your property taxes. Expenditure. What happens? What's changed from October? Expenditures has decreased about 1.7 million for FY15, which is on about 1.1%, is 1.1%, sorry, 1.03% of your expenditures. We talked about this quite a bit too. The biggest driver of that is our retirement insurance benefits decreased due to no insurance premiums increasing beginning January of 2015. That's approximately $1.2 million. When we annualize that, of course, double that. So because we're only getting 6 months of the effect since it started in January. So we're real pleased with that. We had previously estimated 8% back in the fall. A couple of things that contributed to that. We've had some positive claim experience over the last couple of years, which is a good thing. And the wellness program, we'd like to continue that and stay away from those high claims. But also going self-insured. While there is risk of going self-insured, we save on a lot of the state and Affordable Care Act fees going forward. So all that is a very positive trend that allows us to maintain the current premiums that we have going into this year. Expenditure risk assessments. No new buildings being built in this forecast. I would say no new buildings in previous forecasts, but we do have a new Olentangy Academy. that was included back in the fall too, as far as the lease and utilities on that. But also the additional staffing that we have is also included in this forecast. But no new buildings are being built. Just a reminder, it's never that end of mind. We do have approximately $15 million in authority from 2011 that was supposed to be set aside for an elementary school. At this time, we have there's no 5-year forecast, no plan, just some recommendations for that elementary thing. So, just a reminder on that. And that has not been issued in the uniform bonds. So, no one's being tested. Another risk assessment factor, and it's always a factor for us, is our enrollment projections. We continue to grow. There's a future slide out there. As you know, the board every November improves the 10-year enrollment projections. The biggest thing it does, it drives our staffing. We have approximately for every new 24 students a teacher. So that's one thing we keep an eye on. Another thing we keep an eye on too is, of course, our special education. Or actually, one thing that's added into this forecast is our gift too, on the other side of things. We did add in this forecast about 6 additional gifted positions, 5 at the middle school, and for each middle school, and 1 at the high school. We have I don't know when Melanie comes back and does her gifted update, but we do have the largest gifted enrollment in the state, so I'll share the numbers soon. To meet the growing needs of that, report card item, we felt at the middle school level that some additional staffing is needed to keep up and serve those needs of those gifted students. Union negotiations. Our current negotiated agreement goes through 2016. So about this time next year, we'll be in negotiations. We have base increase for 2016 was 2%, and our average step increase is 2.7%. Going out and beyond on this forecast, 17 on that, we have 1% in as the base, and of course we still have those step increases. So, that base increase used out of non-negotiated years used to keep that at 0. In reality, we thought it was prudent to put 1%, at least 1% in there going forward. So, it's a negotiation. It's not so much a public. We can't negotiate together. We're working on all avenues at times. Insurance expense. We talked about it already. We had 0% this year, and it's supposed to be 8%. We had estimates going forward previously in the forecast of 8 for this year, 11 for next year, and 11 throughout the forecast. Of course, we had 0 this year. We had projected 8 and 16 for January of 16, and 10% in January of 17, and 11% in on out. Of course, if we continue to get those positive claims, hopefully they will not be that high. We'll definitely keep an eye on those claims expenses going forward. And big thing in the room is always we have the capital improvements out there. We do have a lot. Everybody seems to think we have a lot of new buildings out there. We do have, how is this building? 1890. I believe we just put a new roof this past summer on this building. The Arrowhead was approved recently to put a new roof, so we're getting into those cycles of new asphalt and HVAC improvements. Jeff, I believe, David is working with the facilities committee in fall 13, talked about 20-year capital improvements. We are winding down from the 2011 bond issue. This summer will be the last of those proceeds of the approximately $24 million that was was given to us in authority in 2011, we issued in 9. That is winding down this summer, the use of those funds. We will be for future years. I believe in 2018 we'll utilize it pretty much the same levels we have in the bond dollars we had permanent improvement monies that was transferred over from residual interest several years ago by the board into the permanent improvement fund, and we'll start utilizing those as we go forward to carry us through for the next few years. That being said, we do have to prioritize projects because we are letting some stuff, deferring some maintenance that probably needs to be done out there. We think we can get through with those dollars we have, but anything that goes beyond that, in case of an emergency, we're going to also start planning from the general fund. So it's something to think about as we move forward. So, just showing a typical school district, you're most likely going to see this. We're approximately 85% in salaries and benefits. Not most school districts are anywhere from 80 to 90%. So it's not unlike. As you can see, our enrollment growth, this matches our 10 enrollment projections as we move on. Fiscal year 19 is 20,503. As I mentioned before, that drives our staffing. As you can see, we started back in 2011, about 15.3. We topped out around this year, last year, I'm sorry, about 15.98. I apologize off the top of my head, I forget where we're at in our CIP. I believe we're around 15.9 or so on our CIP. So we are trending back down about 15.7. This is additional positions I talked about for the gifted, and we also have some intervention specialists serving special education items for our students there. So every 10 people in staff that we have is 0.1. Get up or down, maybe those staff who's not. So really, I think really this is a real driver of why our hospital people too is so low. Helps us. If you look back right before the last levy, the fall forecast of October 2010, around 15.26 and projected to go down 14.86. We are currently now 15.91. We would have, if we were on those trends back in October of 10, we'd have approximately 100 more teachers at this point. So, our performance has continued to go up over that time. I think that was a lot more efficient. Insurance expense. Also, too, prior to, I talked about the negotiated agreement that initially went through 2015. The board approved last summer for extension through 2016. But you can see the changes in what was projected back then by adding the habitat and also, I believe, we didn't get the insurance increase, the push forward of medical mutual at the time. And this, the savings has for 3 years through the FY15 is now around approximately $16 million. And anyone in here correct me, I believe the goal was $12 million.
It was like 11.8.
11.8 million. So we have met that goal as far as insurance. And third, that's something I've hit on quite a bit here. That is, of course, was one of our biggest growing line items. We continue to look at to keep that cost contained in those insurance expenses. So one thing I want to add with that. Affordable Care Act, that thing is still out there. One thing, I don't know if you heard much people put in forecasts, I haven't heard it yet, but is the Cadillac tax. We haven't added anything in the Cadillac tax in this forecast because various reasons. One, we're still 3 years away from it at this point. It's 2018 when that happened. But also, limits may change and so forth. By having a 0% increase really helped us out as we're projecting forward. But, I did run real forward real quick. If you look at, we had an average of 8% increases through 2018. Our Cadillac tax would be approximately $324,000. It is approximately 10% on average increases through that time period. Just a little over $1 million would be the capital. So there again, it's not in the forecast, but there again, it's one of those expenditure risk assessments that we're of course keeping an eye on. Revenues versus expenditures, I like to call the run rate. We're still in positive here in 2015. Expenditures start to exceed revenues in 2016 as we go forward. This is not uncommon for districts that are predominantly locally funded. As we get so relying on real estate taxes, as we have to get local levies to, of course, close that gap and top that off with expenditure reduction. So, like I said, not unusual for districts, I guess, that are growing in enrollment, but also very reliant on local property taxes. That all being said, here's how we project out with this forecast. FY 2018, we had $15.3 million in projected balance, and that's after encumbrances, which is approximately 1 month's cash balance. If you're, as you know, we recently did a big refunding. We maintained our credit rating of AA plus and AA1. That fund balance at the end of the levy cycle is very important, and they look for 1 to 2 months, and we are at that 1 month mark right now. Positive things is, for example, in the state budget, an additional $13 million, of course, improve those balances as we go forward, and any other expenditure reductions we may have. So that's where we're at this point. Any questions?
So looking at this, it would look like the earliest, if we would get nothing new from the state budget, the earliest we would be looking at going back to the voters would be FY 17 because of the low balance in FY 18.
Yeah. We do have 1 month, yes. So
you have 1 month to get you through.
But yes.
That's 1 month.
That's 1 month. So FY 17 will be the earliest because you don't start
collecting until 18.
Yeah, naturally second.
So second, right?
Until January of 18. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't take the time so much. So that would be the earliest FY 17, which.
But that would mean we were last on in 2011.
Correct.
If we had to go on in 17, that means we would have made it last 6 years. And we promised. We promised 3.
You promised 3.
Maybe one of the levers that allows us to get there is student teacher ratio.
Yes.
See it starting to drift a little lower, but very mindful. Those 100 positions are worth about $10 million.
I would say quite that much, but probably 7 or 8 times.
And the health insurance.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, the health, yeah.
Retirement. Yes, we are. Yeah, it's very diligent on that. But we also have those growing needs, and we still have to service those particular populations through special education and it's tough choices that have to be made. Tough choices that are made in the past, and we continue to review it constantly.
I have to say something short and sweet, but I look back at the individuals that are here, and I look at this forecast, and I've been in battle and sat with these individuals, and the reason the forecast is the way it is because of the individuals that sacrificed
and many of them are not here tonight. But we had administrators in some of the first in Central Ohio to take actual freezes. We had union members that took freezes. We've got guys back here that are working 2 and 3 jobs on combinations. And the
Because
results,
we didn't hire.
because we didn't hire. We cut $40 million out of that budget after we passed the levy. We always say that hindsight's 20/20, and we took a lot of heat for that. We took a lot of heat for cutting programs. We took a lot of heat for passing levies and going, what? We're cutting programs. We weren't cutting programs because I think, as Julie already mentioned, the fact that student achievement actually went up. So before I get out of this place, I want to publicly say that the individuals in this room that I've worked with for so many years that have sacrificed their time, their effort, and took a lot of heat, I thank you for what you did, because the result of what you did is right up there on that screen with that carryover. And I'm going to recognize that and take that with me forever, and thank you.
One more stat to throw out too is cop report is out there, but one of the best things on that is also we're about still approximately 12 to 1,300 less than the statewide average for this cost per pupil. So we're on 600 constants. So that's good.
Anything else for Mr. Stern?
Thank you. Do a switcheroo.
Okay, the next item is professional development think tank. Vince Tilio, Anthony Elkins, and Jessica Fields. Don't see Vince. Picture for Vince.
Yeah, so.
Yes.
Hold it up.
Hold it.
Green light should be on.
Okay, excellent. All right, so thank you for allowing us to share a little bit about Think Tank. We're excited about this. Unfortunately, Mr. Tilly is not here. No matter how excited he is, a phone call from his wife a few hours ago that she's in labor. He's president, so we're sharing Think Tank, so it's exciting that he's so excited this is already. So
it's a good day to have it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is. We'll have a third birthday next year. So Mrs. Fields and I are going to present you a little bit just about Think Tank, what we're planning for summer professional development this year. I really want to just focus on 3 things. So why are we doing this? What are we going to do and how we do it? Some of the logistics. So Mrs. Fields, can you start us off?
So I have the why and what section. You're probably wondering, what is Think Tank? And I wish Vince was here because Anthony, him, and I, what I love about my department is we're always collaborating. We're always problem solving. We're always reviewing our practice, revising it, and evolving it just to get the best results. And in January, we really started focusing on our PD. And we believe in design thinking. We think it makes the best out of everybody. You kind of define that challenge, you interpret it, you come up with an idea, you experiment, and then eventually, it evolves. And we were reflecting on our PD, and we were trying to define the challenges we face with our professional development. And one of the challenges is having close to 1,200 staff, and our department serving the needs of 1,200 K-12 staff can be challenging at times. We want our PD to continue to be inspirational and exciting. We want it to maximize student learning. We want to see those results of our professional development. And also, one thing that we constantly challenge with is how do we create an environment in which 23 buildings and 1,200 staff can continue to network and collaborate, because that's where the best PD comes. So that was kind of our first step in our design thinking. Our next was kind of interpreting this challenge. Okay, let's define what does work. Let's look at things that does work. One thing we were seeing is that teachers would constantly email us with challenges or problems or something they would want to overcome in the classroom. And what I would do is I would just forward it on to a teacher that I knew was doing something awesome in the classroom and say, hey, can you talk to this person? And my colleagues were doing the same thing. So we had these teachers in the district who were doing such great things, And what's really nice is my whole career has been with Olentangy. So this is going on my 10th year, and through that, I've been in a lot of classrooms. So every time I'm in that classroom, I see something awesome, I'm like, put that in the back of my mind. You know, where am I going to share that? When am I going to put that person on the platform to share that message? Another thing we found is that a lot of the teachers were having similar problems. So they might have been in different buildings, and they were struggling with the same challenges and trying to go through it in isolation or just with their department. And another thing we noticed is, as professionals ourselves, we would go to conferences and we would come back inspired. It would like ignite our thinking. You know, I've been to English conferences, I've been to administrative conferences, I've been to technology conferences. And sometimes, especially in the technology world, I go into a session, I might feel out of place, but I would still always think, okay, how am I going to take this back and interpret this and make it part of my profession? How can I become a better person? We want our teachers to think that way as well. So we really want to put them in the same room, and that's where the idea of Think Tank came. The subtitle is really important. It's Pursuing Solutions with a Creative Mindset. So we're noticing that teachers have similar problems. They might have unique solutions, but if they get together, that's going to happen quickly. We want them to constantly approach their profession with a design thinking mindset, and we want them to encourage that of their students. We want those students to be thinkers when they leave, Olentangy's, the walls of Olentangy. And we want it to be collaborative, we want it to be meaningful, and we want to honor our teachers. We truly believe we have the best of the best in this district. We want to honor the teachers and understand that we believe that they can solve some of these things that they want to kind of move forward with or the challenges they face. So Think Tank is going to be our solution, May 26th, 27th, and 28th over at Liberty High School. Anthony's going to talk a little bit about some of the sessions we have going on, some of the speakers you see in the brochure you have.
Yeah, so really, in terms of what, and just hit on it, through OPEA and through a lot of the professional development we do, we've noticed we have a lot of what we call frequent flyers. The same people taking class after class after class, and that's too where a lot of this came. It's how do we get more staff members involved? Because with 1,200 people, we want to share that thinking. As you said, we do have the best of the best, and how do we spread that and really make it grow? So the purpose of this in terms of the one, some of the nitty-gritty, it is focused on that collaborative piece. How do we collaborate with one another? How do we get the learning, and share with staff members? How do we get high school people, 7, 12, all secondary learning from elementary? How do we get elementary people into some high school sessions? Is one of the things we're looking at. How do we go across content areas? What is the same thing? What does that look like in math versus ELA? And kind of give people that chance to share. So we get to learn from experts within the district, because we don't always need to go to an outside source, that outside conference, or down to the convention center. We've got so many people there. And really, it's a lot more cost effective to do it this way. Right now, we've had the sign up open for a couple weeks, but as of about 4 o'clock this afternoon, we're already at 160 staff members who have signed up for this. And again, this is the first time we've done this. There's not a ton of information other than what you see from you, the brochure we sent out. We put together a video and that was sent out to staff members. But again, it's a new thing. It's kind of unknown. And to me, that's pretty impressive. 160 people are just really excited to come hear what other people that they work with have to say. So it's a really cool thing. So again, the other thing too with this in terms of what we want to do is really looking at this as a jumping board to connect our professional development from year to year. As we kind of gone through the curriculum blueprinting process, Vince and I are working with teams of teachers to really take apply those new standards and ensure. So what's this look like in our district? What do we really expect for our students, and what do we want to do? Because it's more than just saying, okay, here's our standards, have fun, go do it. There's been a couple of things. Number one, we've heard a lot of clear people want time to collaborate with one another. And number two, we've really heard how do we draw those connections from the year? So it doesn't feel all the time like when we have those professional development days, those waiver days, we're not just throwing things at the wall and saying, okay, do this now, and this new thing, and this new thing. So we also see Think Tank as a way to really tie that together, where it's not a new thing year after year, and how does it build, continue to build on itself, and try the previous years in the year, which that's another piece we're really excited about. Again, approximately 40 sessions, as you can see, how do we tie this together, not just one way, but multiple things. So in terms of a little more specifics, about 40 sessions, it really is kind of a choose your own adventure PD. If you're familiar with those books, it's how we phrase it for staff. You chart your course, you pick what it is you want to do amongst the 40 sessions, and it's spread out over 3 days, May 26th, 27th, 28th, at Liberty High School. The first day, we're going to have a keynote with Jason Hillman, who's director of Literacy Collaborative at Ohio State, also district resident. So he's going to come and talk to the staff members just about the power of collaboration. What does that look like? And how do we leverage collaboration to make these improvements? And collaborating really on student work and student performance. Because if we're not focusing on what our students are doing at the center of all of this, what's the point? So we're excited about that. And that's a bridge from last year, this year to the following year. We have a second smaller keynote as well about some blended learning things and technology and overcoming some obstacles. The other exciting thing for us is we've actually moved our last principals meeting of the year to that first day of the conference. So principals are going to be there as well, support their staff, and then also Jason's going to come and work with them in the afternoon to kind of answer questions again, go over the specifics. So what does this look like in the buildings? From there, we've got lots of experts, both internal and external coming in. We already talked about the staff members we signed up, and even with budget estimates, what we have right now for what it's going to cost to do. We are paying some of our staff members to teach. We're going to ask you to approve some of that. We're using some grant money to pay for the keynote speakers. But even with all that being said, assuming not enough, a single person signs up, we're still at less than $100 a person for this amount of work. So I think that as we kind of crunch the numbers, it's a really cost-effective way to do this the best way. So really, that's the briefest overview we could give, and just share some of our excitement about this. So we'll see if there are any questions.
We invite you guys to comment here.
And wrote it down.
Thank you. Okay, next can I close participation session number 2. All right, Mr. Kern, you want to present the treasure action item?
Yes, for this evening, I'd like to present action items. A, which is approved minutes for March 25th and April 9th of 2015. Approve the financials for March of 2015. And B, C, approve the amended FY15 appropriations to fund level, and D, approve donations to the district.
Motion. Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, let's call roll.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mrs. Feasel?
Yes.
Mr. Parks?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes. Lucas, agenda action item.
As to present superintendent action items A through I for approval, please, as amended. Motion to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, please call roll.
Mr. Parks?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mrs. Feasel?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes. And before we adjourn, I would, without objection, amend the agenda to present a resolution for consideration.
I vote to amend the agenda.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Please call roll.
Mrs. Feasel?
Yes.
Mr. Parks?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes. So I'll read the resolution that we'll consider. It reads as follows. Whereas the Olentangy Local School District Board of Education is involved in litigation of statewide significance, and whereas the Ohio School Boards Association Legal Assistance Fund has been established for the purpose of providing financial assistance to boards of education, therefore the board hereby resolves to request assistance from the OSBA Legal Assistance Fund for calendar year 2015 and authorizes the superintendent to complete the necessary application for assistance. So, a motion to adopt that resolution.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Please call roll.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Parks?
Yes.
Mrs. Feasel?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes. Now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Please call roll.
Mrs. Feasel?
Yes.
Mr. Parks?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Yes. Our next meeting is
May 14th.
May 14th.
Right before graduation.
Oh, okay.